Hold on, guys. I'm just teaching her what a sweep is in the markets. So then the market makers sweep all the money and they collect. All right, get over here.
Yeah. Tits and pips.
Tits and pips. You guys know what time it is. It's Tits and Pips time. The highly anticipated, it's been months of talking about this, and finally, it's here. All right, Ash Button's going to take a shotgun, and then we're going to get started. Monkey.
I'll need a pen. Holy sh!
Ew.
Gross.
All right, guys, so you guys all know I teach it very often. You can't trade forex without being drunk. That's the first lesson. Let's get this started, guys. All right, first of all, guys, if you're new here, if you saw the word TITS and you like trading forex also, and you just randomly clicked on the video, you are about to join the most woke trading community in the world. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hunter, and this is Hunter FX. We will teach you things that other traders will not. And this is my prop of a girlfriend that will live here and also lure you guys in. All right, so first things first, we loaded up Bun with $1,000 account, and we are just going. Yeah, we do. We are just going to teach her some basics, and then I'm going to get her logged in on her phone. She can trade on her phone because there's no way she's touching this computer. So first things first, we got to learn to make sure that she's following proper risk management. First of all, guys, if you don't know nothing, you're brand new, you're a hot chick, and you're living with a trader, the first thing you got to realize is you got to go to tradingview.com, you got to make an account, or you can use your boyfriend's. That also works. You don't actually need an account.
Trade on your account?
No, this is, well, what I did for your actual trading account is under my name, and you can just trade under that, but it's a separate account. So you can type in, Euro USD if you wanted to look at that pair, and then you could click on it. I've already made all the hotkeys here on the side, so you can just kind of click on them, jump around.
Oh, so those aren't there usually?
No.
But is this my account or is this yours?
This is my account. It's just a way to view the charts,
so
basically.
So is mine going to have that?
You can make one too if you want.
Okay.
But you don't need it. You can just kind of log in. It's already logged in on a laptop. You might want to do it on your phone though.
So I have to put all of that in everywhere?
Yeah, you make it under your account. So the next thing you'll notice is basically the outline of what I've got here. So I've got two screens. This is a higher time frame, and I just adjust the time frame up here, right? So every candlestick is going to mean like 1 hour, for example, right? Yeah, scooch the screen there. I'll scooch over a little bit here so more of you can be in the shot. Okay, so you can adjust the time frames here, and generally how I keep it is I put the 5 minute and on the bottom, and then I keep the higher time frame up there. So the higher time frame I get a bit better idea of what's going on, and the lower time frame I use for entries, right? So, and you'll also notice that you got a little flag here, right? Like a flag background, and it repeats every day, right? So this is just the timing. So this is the London session. That's when the London banks are trading, and this is when the New York banks are trading.
And that's automatically in there.
That's an indicator that I've chosen to set up. So these are the indicators here. It's not really an indicator. I use indicators only to tell me the time, right? So the other indicator I use is Monday's range, so that I know when Monday is, right? Okay. It's easier for me to look at that. Other than that, everything is naked, and it's just on this bottom chart. I like this cleaner on the top, right?
Okay.
All right, so first things first, you're going to have to learn how to actually manage your risk properly so that you don't blow your account, because we all know, guys, you're going to lose 90% of your account in the first 90 days of trading. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that slower. And then you can slowly learn that way. So the first thing you want to do, let's just say for any reason you wanted to buy here, right? So I've put some of the important things that I like to use occasionally, like little drawing sticks and lines and all these different tools, but they're all along here, right? And you can find yours long position here, right? So let's say we wanted to take a long. You've already learned what longs are just based on me talking to you and boring you, right? So you can draw that anywhere on the chart there. And let's say you wanted to enter right now. You would draw it horizontally, so that would be the entry. And this is where your exit would be if you lose, right? Your stop, you've heard me talk about this before. And let's say you wanted to target these highs again. You know, maybe you were saying you wanted to go and you follow the trend or something, right? Okay, cool. So you draw that out, and generally what we're going to be looking for is more of a 2R plus. That's how I'm kind of trading. You can always develop your own style. I got one trader in the signal group there that he trades only with 1R, but he's got a 70% win rate. So that's fine. He makes the group a ton of money, so that's great. But I like 2R, so you can drag that across and you see risk reward ratio. This is 2.5 times the distance to your stop, right? So what we're gonna do is we want to make sure that every single trade loses only $20. Fair?
Okay.
Are you comfortable losing $20 of my money?
Sure.
So what we do, you can use different position calculator tools. I like to use a calculator. First thing we do is we go 1,000. That's what we start with. And we want to figure out how much percent we want to risk, right? So you don't have to worry about how I got this formula, but this is all the math you're going to have to do. I promise. No more math than that.
Okay.
She's like, before we started filming, she's like, I'm not gonna have to do math, am I?
Not good at that.
Okay, so it's a very simple formula. So you times it by how much percent you want to risk of your account. So we're gonna times it by 2 because we want to risk 2% or $20, right? And then we're gonna divide it by the distance to the stop, right? And that's right here as a percentage also. So that way we no longer have, you don't have to worry about the formula. I won't explain the formula.
But how do I get that as a percentage?
So you see right here, you've put the position tool down,
okay,
right? 0.15, divide it by 0.15, and then that gives us a really stupid number, right? Now, you don't know very well, but when we trade, this is a new order here, right? So let's say we wanted to trade a new order in MetaTrader. We have to trade based on lots, and one lot is equal to $100,000.
Why? Why didn't they make it lower? Who the fuck is trading it now?
Originally, trading used to be only for rich people, right? So we started with lots, and then it went down to micro lots and macro lots. Satoshis, yeah, Bitcoin. Not there yet, but...
fuck. Okay. I thought that was like... I guess I don't know anything.
Okay. So, basically, what we're going to be betting...
That would be a really cute cat.
Satoshi?
Yeah.
Satoshi the cat. That's a pretty cute cat name.
The ragdoll can name one. Satoshi.
Satoshi, a ragdoll Satoshi. Yeah, cool. So this number here, this is US dollar value. We're going to be trading US dollars. You don't have to worry about conversion. And... you basically, the logic would be you divide that by $100,000 in order to get lots, right?
Okay.
So we can just look at this as 13,000.
Wait, how much?
$100,000.
$100,000. Okay.
So we don't have to do that. We just say 13,000. So we're gonna put 0.13, 13, right? 13,000 for every 1,000 is 0.01, right? That's all we have to do.
If it's like 139, do you round up to 14?
Yeah, you can round. It'll be rough, right? Because you're never gonna have an exact number, right? So let's say we wanted to long this now all of a sudden for some reason, right? We would then type in our stop, and on the phone it's going to look a little bit different. So our stop is right here, right? So 1.139, right? 02, right? And then our target 1.14521, right? And if you wanted to leave a resting order, you go a pending order instead of entering right away. And then you say,
put in when
I want to enter a bit lower or something,
when it
right?
gets there.
Or you can switch that to a sell limit. Don't do stop orders. Those, like, when it hits that level, it'll go the reverse direction. Does that make sense? So if
no, I don't get
it. A limit order, a buy limit, would basically say when it gets there, I'm going to buy. And
What's sell limit?
Sell limit would be if it goes up, it'll sell. The stop is the opposite, so it'll go in the direction of the price. So if it's breaking down and you put a sell stop, that means when it gets to
your stop,
to the stop, it'll sell.
But who would ever do a buy stop?
When it's going up. And
so
you want to be a breakout.
Trading.
You want to be a breakout trader, basically, and that's ridiculous. Don't do that.
Counter trading?
No, it's like going with the it's like going with the momentum, basically. Up? The logic is people are going with the momentum, and they're trying to catch like a breakout and then explosion. But generally, what happens is people will catch the breakout. It'll go a bit in their direction, and then it'll come all the way back down, and then manipulate them back the other way. We're gonna learn a lot about manipulation later. But let's say we want to place the order. We place the order. I'm not going to place the order because I don't want to risk anything right now.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
I feel like
No, you're good. Okay.
I already kind of forgot what you said.
All right.
I'll have to do it. I'll have to do it myself. I don't remember.
All right. So, what do we actually teach here? Okay, so I'm actually going to teach you how to trade, I suppose.
What kind of trading?
So I'm going to basically teach you these... Damn cats. I'm going to basically teach you the style that I trade, and then you can, if you always want to learn more different ways, you can do it yourself in different ways. I'll make it kind of general in a sense so that you can, if you wanted to use indicators and whatnot, that'd be fine. But generally, what we first want to know is there's two things in trading. There's what direction is the price going, and where is it going to turn around? That's how you're always going to have to think, right? And that's not how everyone thinks when they go into it. They're just like, I'm trying to make money, right? You have to analyze the chart in that way. So if you were to just simply say, with your intuition here, what direction is the price going on that lower time frame? That's it.
Oh.
Right? That's all it is. So what you're going to have to do...
When you ask a question like that, it's always like the most recent, right?
Pretty much, yeah. But you're going to have to find some sort of way to define it. So some people, they use moving averages.
Well, because like it looks like it's going down.
Yeah.
Now it's going up.
You could define it just, okay, it's breaking down. How I define it is kind of based off candlesticks. I define it basically the move that brought us to the previous high, because the definition of a trend is continually making lower highs and lower lows, right?
Yeah.
So the second that if we're going up here and we're making higher highs and higher lows, the second that we no longer are making a higher low, the second we close below that, then I say, okay, it's a downtrend, right? That's generally how I view it, right?
Okay, so that's the lowest of the high, and then as soon as you break that, it's going down now. Okay, I get that.
So I actually define it in a very tight term, and it's the candle, the move that brought us to the high, right? So that is what actually changed the trend on the 5 minute. Now, if you'll notice, if we look at the 1 hour, it didn't break, right? Well, actually, it did break the trend right here, right? Broke the trend way down there. So it broke that's originally where I drew the line, right? Because I knew roughly that would have been on the higher time frame, because that's the major move, right?
So when you draw a line on the bottom, does it transfer up to the top?
Yep, I just drew it there. You'll have to use my account if you want to see dual screen like this. That's what I much prefer. It's a lot easier.
You just set it up for me.
Cool. Well, it's paid, so you'll have to just log into my account.
Okay.
And so the next thing you want to know is...
Wait a second. So I'm confused on what I'm...
It's a higher time frame.
This one is that, or this... What the fuck is this line?
We're just zoomed out more.
Look. I know that. Okay.
This is very zoomed in, so every...
Wait. But, like, where the fuck is that connecting to?
Right here.
Up here.
Right there.
No, what's that one? Up
That's
there.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what? What is that bottom line then?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, zoom out.
Zoom out where?
Of this one. There's another teal on this one. What
That's
is that
even
line?
higher time frame. Look.
Oh. Okay, never mind. I didn't get how that worked.
Yeah. So that's why I just keep two different time frames, because it's a bit easier to see what's going on. Okay. So on the higher time frame though, what's the trend?
Looks like it's going up.
More or less, right? You could define it the way
it's just like starting to go down.
Yeah. So you could define it the way that I did, that I said, okay, this is the move that brought us to the high, but that's really pushing it, right?
It's new.
Yeah, it's new, and it hasn't confirmed anything. It hasn't really shown that this is an area of weakness too much. It's just kind of pulling back, right?
Because like you could have said that about this or this or this.
I couldn't have, actually.
Oh.
Because the way I defined it was the move that brought us to the high, right? But the move that brought us to the high is there.
Exactly.
Move that brought us to the high is there. It never broke down. So this is the first time it's actually breaking that level.
Oh. Okay.
So that's why I define it like that. But I still see it a very possibility that you could come up a little bit more and then down. It's just first signs of the trend breaking down, and we can dive into those first signs a little bit later of how we're going to actually apply those and make sure that the trend is actually breaking for sure. This is just kind of how I first view it, right? So what was the next thing that I said that we need to figure out?
Where it's gonna go. So you said what direction is it going and where is it gonna go?
Yeah, so where could it change, basically? Yeah. So the options then is we need to figure out some sort of way to think about the market in terms of where are the resting orders.
I need to do this. I forgot to do it.
Okay. We need to find areas that there was buyers and sellers, essentially. If you break it down very simple like that.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense,
sounds
right?
Really hard though.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. But if we look at this in a different way, I got two questions for you. And, I expect you to be able to get it, but you might be able to be close. What does a candlestick show us?
People buying things.
Yeah, essentially, that's the easy question. To put it in other words, we can say filled orders.
Yeah.
So on any side of a trade, there's people resting with, so this green candle there's resting sellers, and the buyers are coming in with a market order to fill.
So that's why if you orders. Fuck up and you put in a huge order, if you don't cancel it, it's gonna take forever to get filled, right? Accidentally put in a really big order. You have to wait until someone else puts a sell order in for the opposite side.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that in forex.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
okay.
There
isn't that?
You would need multiple millions to even notice any slippage. Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, this is like a multi-trillion-dollar market.
I feel like I learned stuff with you trading when you were trading crypto. Crypto is different. How different is it?
Crypto is very volatile because it's very illiquid. Meaning there's nobody trading it. Everyone trades forex. Forex is the most liquid market. Euro USD is the most liquid thing on the planet. Okay, so.
I was gonna. Why are some of them red and some of them green?
I don't know. It's a secret.
Okay.
You can't know that. It's just because I put a flag there.
Oh. Okay.
So we need to then determine where is it going to be changing. So if we see, here's another way, we see a reversal right there. What does that signify to us? So
like
opposite side of what?
Reversal meaning reversal of what?
Anything. Anytime the price changes direction.
But it didn't really. It's still going up.
It was going down right here.
A little bit.
And then it went up.
So you could say the same thing about this.
Same thing right here. Same thing every single reversal point. Some are going to be more powerful than others, but what does this mean?
Buy orders.
It means that there was no longer enough buy orders to fill the sell orders. So then what can we assume?
What?
We can then assume that there are more sell orders right here.
What do you mean by there weren't enough?
So as we said, candlesticks.
You have to have both?
Candlesticks fill.
I thought you said that didn't matter because there's you don't have to wait.
Yeah, it's a complete. You're talking about something completely different.
Okay.
So candlesticks are filled orders, right? Mm-hmm. And as the price goes up, it's going to fill more and more and more until there's not enough orders. There's not enough pressure to fill those orders, and it's not your money that's running out. It's these billion-dollar banks that are running out. Your money is worthless until you get into the multi-millions.
What do you mean by running out?
So they're buying up the market, right? Because they're making buy orders.
So they're just buying more and more. Like
yes.
They don't. It's not just like one order and they just. So.
Yeah, they keep buying. Different traders are buying. Prop firms, people trade for people with big money.
So it's all just buying, and then like everyone like stops buying.
Yeah.
And then it changes.
So eventually, at some point, no person is willing to buy at that point anymore. Not a single soul will buy at that level.
Or just someone buys in the opposite direction. Can you, what is it called? Can you, short? Do you short?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Shorting is selling.
I know. No, but shorting is like going down.
Yeah, shorting is betting that the price will go down.
Yes, but didn't you say in something that you can short some certain things? Or was it? No, it was a program. It was an application. It was on one of the trading themes. They wouldn't let you short things.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. So, to continue.
I'm going to be asking a ton of questions because you talk like a trader who knows a lot of shit, and then I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to break it down very smooth like. Smooth like.
Yes. You want to come up? Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. You're just going to stare at me. And he's going to walk away.
Alright, so as we were coming up, eventually all the buyers said, I don't want to buy anymore. So we know that there's still a bunch of resting sell orders there.
So why do they say that, though?
Why do we say that?
Why do they say that they don't want to buy anymore? What stops
the price is too high.
Buying.
Think about it. You go to the grocery store and you see cheese on sale for $3, right?
It's really good cheese.
Look,
still buy it.
$3 down here. Cheese is on sale, only $3.
Then there's a shit ton of
yeah,
people.
you're like,
okay.
you're like, okay. Normally, I saw.
Okay.
Let me explain this because this is cool. Normally, we've seen cheese was ranging around here, right?
Why do you pick cheese?
I don't know. You want to talk about waffles? Okay, we'll talk about waffles. So waffles, were ranging right around here for $3, right? And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, I want waffles, and the price of the waffles went up because they didn't have enough waffles left to sell. They're like, okay, that's good.
It was trendy.
Yeah, it was trendy waffles. Trendy waffles, real good ones. And then you see it come back down to the previous price it was at. And you see it go lower. And you're like, oh shit, I saw it at $3 last week. And I didn't get a chance to buy it.
Bitch to the manager.
Bitch to the manager.
That's what people do.
So
people do that.
It dives to $2.99. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna buy up all the waffles. And everyone else is like, gotta buy up all the waffles. And then it just skyrockets, right? Eventually, those cheesy waffles get to $9, and everyone's like,
cheesy waffles.
That's too much for cheese in my waffles.
That sounds...
I'm not going to buy it anymore. And then the grocery store is like, we're not selling cheesy waffles. What do? Well, we got a huge stockpile of cheesy waffles. Just lower the price. Let's look high. And then nobody's buying anymore until, okay, a couple people, they're like, okay, I saw it here last week for $8. So maybe I'll buy some at $8, right? That makes sense when I explain it in food.
I said I get it before you went on your little...
Whatever. Cheesy waffles. Okay, so, anyways... So we knew this actually doesn't make a whole lot of sense with what we were just talking about.
Oh, I got a kitty.
Little guy. Is it Georgie?
It's Georgie. Georgie. Her bear.
Oh my god, he's purring so loud. Hey, bud.
I pick him up and he just starts purring.
Yeah. He's just upside down. Chicken.
Yeah, Georgie.
Alright. So, we know that when it previously came up to this price, let's assume that there was a huge resting sell limit order there that we just couldn't break. So we can kind of assume that around that area again, there's going to be more sellers. But it might go a little bit past it, right? If it does come up to this area. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first area where I've realized that there's sellers, right? The next area that I realized that there are sellers are... Let me just draw this out for you and explain this consolidation area. Consolidation means it's ranging, basically.
Like flat.
Yeah, flat back and forth. What's going on here is everyone's saying, okay, I'm going to sell at this price. Okay, I'm going to buy back up. I want to sell the highs again. Okay, buy it when it comes back up here, right? It's basically ranging back and forth. And now there's a bunch of traders buying and selling in a small time frame, right? Eventually... Yeah, for your cat sneezing in the background.
I've never heard him sneeze. I feel like maybe like once or twice.
Yeah.
Look at him, little potato.
Hey, bud.
You comfy? That looks super uncomfortable, so I don't get how. You want to eat my nails.
Alright, so... Eventually, some asshole comes in and they say, I'm just going to sell it, right? Right out of the range, everyone who was waiting to buy here just gets eaten up by my sell order because I'm a big billionaire with whatever. So...
What do you mean by eaten? So the people... What do they mean, the people? The people getting eaten up?
Everyone who's range trading here, it just blew through their orders.
What's range trading?
So they were buying the lows, selling the highs in a consolidation area, right? Makes sense? Okay. So anyone who had resting orders, it just ate through. Right? The cat. So we know that everyone who was willing to sell back up here, they didn't get in on their orders.
So they set a sell order too high. It filled because that dude was just like, and then he sold everything. Pretty
much. So every time you see a really fast move like this, we know, like right here, a lot of people got left in the dust because a lot of people were willing to buy in that area because there was a lot of ranging going on.
But they didn't place a buy order.
Yeah, but they
were just waiting to see it.
Yeah, they didn't get in fast enough.
Why wouldn't you do that?
On top of that, think about this. People then see massive moves. They're going to try to get in on a slight pullback, something kind of like this, right?
So it was going to bounce up.
So they're going to slightly get in. So what we can then determine is when we see a range market like this and it blow out of it, we know that people were left in the dust and people are going to be adding because they're FOMOing in, right? So the FOMOers, they're stupid, right? We want to be a little bit greedier, and we want to wait a bit further and watch the reaction. We want to look for proper entries.
So FOMO's buy in the downtrend.
FOMO means fear of missing out, right?
That.
So
they want to catch the downtrend in this case.
So they waited for just a very small pullback, and they're like, oh, we gotta get in, because it's gonna carry away, right? So this is actually pretty quick, and normally it comes back a lot deeper.
Wait, so this was it right there?
Yeah, that would have been like the FOMOers playing a support resistance flip. So this used to be support.
Because they wanted to bounce right back up.
Yeah, and then this is the resistance now. So that's that line basically that we drew. That's not how I trade. I look for greedier entries. I look for like up here because I am greedy. Okay.
Well, wouldn't it just be smart to always have buy and sell orders set rather than watching the market to place your orders?
I don't like doing that.
Why?
So the reason...
Seems like you're wasting your time staring at the charts to possibly do something you want.
Okay, so let me explain it in a very similar term of what just happened, right? So you see a major move like this. Let's say after it came down here, I placed a resting order here because that's where I wanted to get in. And then I put my stop above there, I put my target, whatever. And then after a while, it's been a while, a whole day maybe, I just assume a lot of people don't care about this trade anymore. A lot of other people are pulling their orders, right? So now I know that this range is a lot weaker. People weren't willing to sell here anymore. People are not getting their orders filled here. So now this range is going to be weak. So if it takes a long time to come back, I'm going to pull my order too. I'll only wait maybe...
So there won't be any like buy and sell orders up here?
Yeah, it'll be sell.
Sell orders.
Yeah.
Because they're all still holding from there. And then it's all gone
down. Eventually people...
Or they've sold because they're bitches.
Yeah, they're dropping their orders. They're not interested anymore, right? So the same logic is I don't want to be interested unless there's people backing me up because I'm just a little fish, right? I can't stop anything.
Stop that.
So I want to get out of that, but I will leave a resting order if it's very quick. So if it dived down, I actually put a resting order here and it didn't come up to fill me. Right? So I exited out.
Georgie wants attention.
But what you want to do then after a while is you watch the area. So we're going to draw an area that we're actually interested in. So maybe we drew it here or something. And if it then kind of consolidates and breaks down, then we can get in just a little bit worse and then use this as our area now and have a stop above.
Wouldn't you want to like watch as it like starts to come up to like here and then buy so that you get the long?
Now that would make sense, but then you have to consider risk reward, right?
Because then you could just set a long order for it to come up to that spot.
So if we do, for example, what you're saying is it comes back up here, right? And we're expecting it to come there, right? Where are you going to get in, right? Let's say you get in...
Yeah, I would say like roughly around where all this action was.
So let's say we get in above this area because that's kind of how we're defining trend, right? So let's say we get in there and we target this. Where are you going to put your stop? So first of all...
you have that calculation thing that you can do?
Yeah, so first of all, your stop should always be the point where you are wrong with your idea. So if we put our stop here, for example, and it came up, it hit our entry, are we still wrong if it does this? Is our idea still wrong of our target?
Stuff is.
Exactly. So that's where we're actually wrong with our idea. But then look at the trade. Yeah. The next thing that you want to pay attention to is, are you trading with the trend?
Well, okay, yeah, no.
So that's not with the trend, right? That would be counter trend and it's a lot harder to do. So this, by logic, tells us why would we do that? Unless we have a 90% hit rate on this setup, then it makes no sense to do. Not profitable.
So what would you do if you try and get in on that long?
I wouldn't. Because why? Because we want to follow the trend. That's the first thing. Not on the lower time frame.
Not on the lower time frame, but on that higher time frame.
then if I wanted to be following the higher time frame trend,
trading on that one.
Then I would be targeting something further, right? I would be maybe targeting highs. I would be maybe if I had the bias that it's going to continue up on the higher time frame, then I would be targeting further than just a scalp, right? Just a little, because that then
you don't usually trade the 5 minute time frame, right?
Yeah, because then
you personally.
I do. That's how I enter. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So then you're basically conflicting your views here. You're saying I think it's going to go down here, so I'm going to exit my trade here, but I'm following the higher time frame trend, so that makes no sense.
I said that you enter a long order as it starts to go up, and then you just sit in it. Because on the higher time frame, it's going up. Okay,
yeah, but for first of all, you said targeting here, right? Because then that's where it's going to reject.
You said that.
Okay, well, we always need a target.
Okay, I wouldn't know where to target.
That's fine then. Okay, so if you are biased on the long-term time frame to be long, then that's perfectly fair after we start reversing, because this is a possible area that we could actually bounce off of, right? Why? Because
it was where the trend changed going up.
Yeah, the massive move. A lot of people were left in the dust. We figure that when we come back here, we're going to see a nice bounce, right? Oh my God, these cats, man. They can't be left alone for an hour.
No, they can't, because they love us so much. Grabbing out to you.
Hey, bud.
Pets.
Hello. Okay, cool. I figure we should just learn a couple things, and then I'm gonna put 2 videos together, I think. And then I'll do another video in a few weeks.
Okay. So I think a good way of going at it is, you know how you were starting with the placing buy orders and sell orders, is like how you would go about that. So when you would know like goes where and all that shit with a buy order and also with a sell order. Like start with that, because that's how you're gonna be placed stuff, and then get into like the more like strategic kind of things later.
I don't know exactly what you're saying. I'm teaching you the logic behind the market first,
okay.
and then we'll dive into how to actually trade.
Okay.
Because people don't learn.
I learn by doing. I need to see it happen, or else I'm not going to retain any of this information. Well, no, I won't not, but it'll be like the boring part of my textbook.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of shit that you're supposed to know. Figure it out as you go along. Yeah, so the way that you're gonna have to learn is you have to learn how to do it, and then you do it, right? I can't just do it right now, because... But I need to see it. That's the thing. I need to see what you're doing. Yeah, okay, so we'll look at an example then. Okay, so... So now that we've learned kind of just the basics around what the market is and what we should be kind of following, where trend is going and where the price could actually change direction, let's just kind of have me look at a chart, and I can explain everything on how I would analyze it, first of all. What's a good chart? Maybe that one. So if we look at kind of this chart here, I'm going to look back in the past here, because it's going to be easier to tell you the logic if we're actually looking back, because we can't know what's going to happen in the future. But if we look at odd USD here, basically we can use that similar logic where we've said that previous orders were still resting behind this level, and it's come down and it's actually created a sweep of those lows. So what this can also be sweep, so it just like keeps bouncing on that low. So a sweep means when it breaks below the low, stops people out, and then reverses really quick. No, you gotta get out of here, dude.
He keeps coming back. Okay, so yeah, a sweep means that we have a previous low. So I'm just going to drag this so it's actually at the low there. And then it goes past it. It stops people out.
Out of the shot. Oh. Jesus.
It goes past it, and then it reverses really quickly, and it's just a stop hunt, basically. It stops people out and then reverses to the actual direction. The reason this happens is, one, because there was resting orders, and the second reason is because it was forced. So the banks actually they have so much money that they put resting orders here, and then they sell into it to stop everyone out, and then their stop orders fill the bank's resting order.
That's what screwed you over with that scalping guy. It was a monthly thing. That guy who was scalping, who like sucked. He didn't suck, but he lost like his whole account.
Yeah, that wasn't this. That was just.
He said it was like a monthly sell then buy by a bank.
Oh.
It was like a monthly thing.
It was just a big move.
And that if you had been paying attention to the
yeah,
seen it.
Yeah, I saw it afterwards for sure.
Yeah, because I remember you showing it to me, and I'm like, what?
But yeah, it's not the same thing. But this is what a sweep is basically. It's a stop hunt that's forced by large players.
So what's their criteria to make that happen?
Anything.
Like it wouldn't
high
be,
or low. Right?
It wouldn't be because it's like touched that line twice on that thing.
That's a good point. The more often a line is touched, the more likely there will be
a bank's gonna fucking
a stop hunt. Yeah, because this is so obvious. Think about the retail
trader. So obvious.
Yeah, think about the retail trader mindset. They say this is held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
I would have said even 2 is enough.
Yeah, 2 is tons, but 6 times, a retail trader's gonna say that's gonna hold again. And they're dumb and they're wrong. The retail trader is always wrong, and the banks know this. So what they're going to do is they're going to do this, and they're going to catch their stop, and then it's going to come back up. Because that's where they're putting their stop.
Makes sense.
Right? So that's the first thing I always look for is...
I don't think they're dumb. I think they're assuming you're dumb, which makes them dumb.
So that's the first thing I always kind of look for is these sweeps are the most powerful momentum changers. So when we see a sweep, then we can kind of determine that the price could be changing there. Mm-hmm. And then we're looking we want to follow the trend, right? I want to always be trading the trend. It's a lot easier. So after I see this sweep on the higher time frame, and then I'm looking at the lower time frame and I see, okay.
So this is 5 minutes, and that is 1 hour?
Yeah, so on the hourly here, I say this is the level that brought us to that low in the sweep, right? And then I want to always be following the trend because this in my mind is kind of a downtrend. So I want to wait until the high time frame is onto the higher time frame. So this candle here when it closes above it. So right around here. And then I want to look for an entry. I want to look for a pullback.
So are you looking at the same thing? So this right here is like this right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see where my cursor is on both, right?
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So after I see the trend change, I see a manipulation. That's great momentum change. And now I'm following the trend. I want to wait for a pullback and get a nice discounted price. So where could we think about pullbacks coming to, right? I'll look on the lower time frame and I'll say we see an area here where it kind of exploded out, right? Right there. It exploded out of there, and I think that there's going to be a lot of resting orders still there on the lower time frame. So then what I would do is I would place an entry there. I would place my stop where I'm no longer right, because my idea is no longer right that it would keep going up. If
Which
it
would be the bottom of that wick.
The move that brought us out, right?
Yeah.
So if it broke down...
Why the bottom and not the top of it?
Right here, this is okay, but it could easily just a little bit down and then come back up, right?
Doesn't make too much of a difference.
It's not too much of a difference. That's my preference, and there's always, you can collect different data, and you might figure out that you're actually more profitable here, but it's very similar. And then what I do is I follow the trend and I look for other places where the price could change. Right? So I zoom out here. I say this zone was consolidation and it dropped really quickly. There's a lot of resting orders there.
So it would be, so if you were to put, would it be the top or it would be the bottom of that wick? Okay.
Yeah, so that's where the move originally broke down.
So it's usually the bottom of the wicks is where you're going at.
Usually, like, the move that right before the breakdown, right? So if this right here is basically what I'm looking for, right there.
Okay.
And sometimes it'll go a bit further because why? We need to stop people out before moving the price a little bit further. So sometimes you can leave some resting, but the majority of my trade I would want to be out by there. You can also look, okay, say this is also an area of interest, so I might want to take some profit off here, right? Because that's also a major move. And you notice there's a bounce down there. That was the original bounce down, right?
So if you're going to place that long order, but as you can see in the higher time frame, it goes up more. So would you completely sell once you've reached your long goal, or would you just take like maybe 70% out and then keep the 30% in, or something like that?
95% of the time I'm out of the position by the time entirely. Sometimes if it's really strong, I'll just let it run. If it's just bouncing up.
How can you judge if it's really strong?
How fast the market's moving. So if it's doing this all the way up, see that?
Okay.
Massive green candles. Why would I just exit immediately? I would take a lot of profit, but then I would just let more run, and I would go to this high. I would maybe look for a next level or something. There's nothing really. Maybe here, maybe that high.
Yeah.
And then take it all off there instead, and then you get a couple extra points. Cool. So that's basically it, and you'll notice that every time we break to a new high, it's going to come back and it's going to kind of retest that area, right? It's going to give more people opportunities to get in, right? And oftentimes it'll sweep below things before coming back up. So it's kind of like a staircase, right? So you'll see it rallies up, it comes back to that zone, right, that it came off from, rallies up again, comes back to that zone it came off from, right? You can see like here again, rallies up here. That's an area of interest because that's where it bounced off of.
So this would be like, let's say, where the bank stoppy things are. Or is because there's no consolidation zone beforehand, they wouldn't have that? So like it's hit here, here, and here as 3 times on one level.
Yeah. So
could the bank have like some stupid thing ever fuck everybody over, or because there was no like range beforehand that wouldn't be there?
Are you saying that you think this is a stop hunt zone?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters that much because
there's no range before.
Yeah, it's only touched once, and this
here.
Yeah, but we've already gone past it. So we've already removed all of those orders.
Okay,
so that one doesn't count.
This is now 3.
This is
2. This is ranging though, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, this is an extra one if we bounce off of it.
Okay.
Right now, if we continue down, there's 2 options, right? If we continue down, then it doesn't matter. If we bounce off of it, then we say, okay, that's likely going to come back down.
So could you say that it's like a possibility, but it's just not something you need to worry about right now?
Yeah, we don't want to ever think about what could happen. We only want to look at what happened or is happening.
No, but what is happening is that it's hitting the same spot over and over again. So what usually happens is the bank will fuck you over, right?
Yeah, so if you want to consider this as an actual point where there could be stops, you got to really zoom in and you got to say, okay, they're gonna hunt the stops on the highs and the lows here. 2 possibilities, and it just wick, and then you can watch for wicks on either side, right?
Okay, so like I said before, to have like those multiple points of hitting the same spot, does the stop hunt usually happen when there was like a range or something like that like people's, before dropping or whatever, before doing something, that people's orders didn't get filled? Consolidation, is that what that's called?
Stop hunts sometimes happen. So you're saying, like, let's go back to Euro USD.
Yeah, because what you said was that here everyone got fucked over because this person was just like, fuck you, I'm gonna sell. Where, and then, but there isn't the stop on here.
There is one right here.
Oh.
Okay. This is a really strong momentum shift because it faked people out, breakout traders.
That's right.
Stop hunt, and then it reversed. So that's a really strong sign that the momentum's actually changing. If it comes back up here, sometimes it does go a little bit past.
Consolidation?
Yes.
Okay.
So sometimes it goes a little bit past like range. Like let's say I drew this as my supply and demand. So this is called demand, this is supply, right? Sometimes it goes a little bit past and still wicks out, something like that. Because there's people that trade like this. They say, this is my zone, I'm going to put my stop behind because if it breaks past that, then I'm wrong. That's why I don't leave resting orders.
So that's going to be a stop hunt?
Yeah, that'll be also a stop hunt.
Okay.
So this is why I don't leave resting orders, because I know people trade like this and I know banks manipulate it.
So basically, to trade, you need to understand how to trade all strategies. So you gotta watch out for everything. Yeah, because the bank knows all strategies.
Exactly, okay. Yeah. You gotta know what everyone else is doing so that you can not do it.
Yeah, get in that shit. Okay, I get it.
Sweet. Cool. That might be a good place to stop.
Watch me become the best scalper in the world.
The best scalper in the world?
No. Too much time on the computer.
Too much time on the computer. Yeah, you'll freaking go crazy.
You're just gonna be staring at some shit the whole time and like freaking out upstairs. And I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
No, I'll put my time something else. It's tan outside or something.
Yeah. So, guys, it'll be really interesting to see where she takes this. I'm gonna get see if we can get some trades in from her in the next week there. I think this is a great starting point. She's got kind of a good logic. We can just kind of...
We'll have to cut out the questions that are like completely off topic.
Oh no, it's all going to be in there.
Oh. That's going to be so boring.
No, I'm just going to edit it properly.
I feel like I was bored and I'm learning.
Yeah.
I feel like people watching this is going to be even more bored.
Well, I'll make it good. So we'll get some actual trades for her, and I'll record some of her very first trades, and that will be coming into the next week. Hopefully this was actually a really good lesson. There's a lot of good market knowledge in there for you guys. So make sure that you hit that like button, and if you want to learn more about trading using the Hunter FX way, watch the streams, check out the Discord in the link below. You can join the most woke trading community there is, and if you're looking for signals, there's also that there too. See you guys next time.